WIBTA if I refuse to have intimacy with my husband? I won't sugarcoat any words here or make the situation in my favor. I need a very non-biased opinion. Around mid-August of 2019, me, 28F, and my husband, 35M, tied a knot between us. He have two kids from his previous marriage. He and his ex-wife are co-parenting their kids. I really love the kids. One of the major factors why I got married with him was kids. I have reasons for that. My father died when I was 15. My mom wasn't so highly educated, so with that less education qualification, she couldn't provide for me and my other three younger brothers all alone. So I started to do part-time jobs. I babysat, cleaned people's yard, took out pets for walk, did assignments of my classmates, etc. I earned really little amount of money with that, but it helped my family slightest. When I was 17, I took a food delivery job. One night, around 10 to 11, I was dropping food at the other side of city. A drunk driver hit my cycle and I went into a terrible accident. The driver needed to pay a large fine for that since my condition was very critical. I had a lot internal bleeding and damage. So because of that accident, my doctor confirmed that in future the chances of me getting pregnant is very less. It will be a miracle for me to have my own kid. I was at the lowest part of my life because of that accident. I couldn't go out or do my work on my own. My family took care of me. It took me around 8 months to get well. At first I didn't mind having a childless life, but when I started to notice my friends are having family, I realized the beauty of motherhood. So I started dating guys with kids. My husband was my second BF. We tied knot after we dated for 10 months. When I got married, his son was 11 and his daughter was 7. I got along with them well. It took them few months before they started to call me mama by their own. I left my job to be the stay-at-home mom for them. Honestly, I really adore them. I have a good relationship with their bio mom too. After COVID, we went to Belgium for our second anniversary on 2021. The trip was all good and I remember feeling so loved. The day before we were supposed to come back in our home, he proposed the idea of opening our marriage. If I say I was hurt, it'll be an understatement. I couldn't look in his eyes without feeling hollow and sorrow. I said no multiple times after coming back from the trip, but he kept persisting. After a couple of weeks I gave up and agreed. He set the terms. I don't remember most of it, but few of his terms was never share this information with others. We can't date our exes or friends. No emotional attachment with our partners and always use protection. In his words, he still loves me. He only opened the marriage because he wanted to gain experience and use it on our marriage. I remember going to sleep all crying and hurt. I gave up on my job to take care of him and the kids, yet he yearned for another woman. We became distant. He noticed that and tried to initiate intimacy with me, but I don't feel anything at all. I just lay there until he is done. I also distanced myself from him. The idea of him having intimacy with other women while being in a marriage with me disgusted me. I couldn't look at him at the same way I used to. We always have our location on so I could see where he is going. Those used to hurt me a lot until I became completely numb at this point. Now I don't see him as my husband, but someone I tied knots with to be a mother. Last year, I told him I want to start work again. He got defensive kinda. He tried to use a lot reasons to show why can't I work. When he saw all of his tricks going downhill, he pulled the kids in the mess. He knew I have soft spots for his kids. I didn't back down that time. He gave me cold shoulder and went on trip with one of his GF. I applied to be a teacher at my brother's high school. He is the youngest of my all siblings and a sophomore. I am teaching chemistry in his school. My husband was mad at me for having a job for few months, but he gave up. I started to give myself a lot times. Since the kids have extracurriculum activities, they always don't stay at home. I have a friend circle from high school. I hung out with them every 2 weeks. I met a guy in my workplace. He is 29 and have 3 kids with his late wife. One day I ranted about my whole situation. He showed interest in me after that. He is a nice guy. I went on few dates with him. Nothing physical happened between us. I think I am relying on him for mental support since he is very supportive of me. I haven't felt something like that for a long time in my life. Now, few days ago, I went to salon and cut my hair short into shoulder length. My husband complimented me multiple times that day. The kids went to their grandparents' house for summer vacation. During night, he tried to initiate intimacy. Well, I straight up said no for the first time. I think he got taken aback. He had mixed a few expressions that I can't put a finger on. He started to use the husband card on me and I put my foot down to say no. We had a huge argument and he left. I saw his location. He went to one of his girlfriend's place. He didn't contacted me for 2 days now. Now I am stuck between two thoughts. Even if I don't feel anything towards him, he is still my husband. I can't share this with anyone, so I need advice on this. Update 1. Last night I made a post about my current situation of my marriage and asked for a non-biased view. There are almost 300 people who responded and gave me advice. I couldn't respond all of that since I was overwhelmed with a lot of emotions. There is few things I want to clarify. Firstly, I met my husband after my graduation when I was looking for a job. I made things official with him after I had the job. We dated for 10 months before getting married. Secondly, his ex-wife and he were childhood sweetheart who married each other when they were in college. After the birth of their second child, they realized they don't have the same bond, so they got divorced and have 50-50 custody. Thirdly, few people in my previous post asked me to make things official with my coworker. I would do that when I am ready. Currently, my mental health isn't in the best position. I am working on it. Plus, I can't have intimacy with anyone whom I barely know. We've been coworkers about almost a year, but still I am not ready to make things all good. Lastly, those who are saying I am using sex as a punishment, it's quite opposite. He barely comes home. He is always out with the kids or his girlfriends. I would love to add, he doesn't have one but 3 girlfriends, and yes, all of them are aware of my existence. Now to the update. Last night I made a post about the current situation of my marriage with my husband, asking if I would be the AH if I refused to have intimacy. He haven't came back in last 3 days or contacted me. The kids talks with me daily. I had few conversation with their bio mom too. They are over her parents' place. Honestly, I thought he'll get over it or won't bother me for a long time, but I was wrong as hell. During lunch, my mom came over to visit me. She asked if everything was okay between me and my husband. I didn't lie this time and straight up said no. We had a long conversation about my marriage, and I was relieved after that. It felt so good after sharing everything with her. I am not ashamed to admit I cried like a kid in her arms while explaining everything. She stayed with me entire day. She called one of my younger brother, 26, and told him everything. If I say he was mad, it'll be an understatement. He asked why the hell I suffered that much and scolded me for a couple of minutes. With the help of my mom and brother, I packed my stuffs. I didn't leave with any of the stuffs he got me. Most likely we will get a divorce soon. I texted a short message in his number, thanking him for being my husband, and I won't be continuing the marriage anymore, along with some personal stuffs between us. With the help of my friend and family, currently I am finding a lawyer. I don't know how long it'll take me to finally get out of the marriage. I left the house around evening and sent the SMS around 7. After that I muted his number. I also told his ex-wife about this, and needless to say, she was as much shocked as everyone. Because he wasn't like that. She assured me that, even after divorce, she will let me see the kids. I am really grateful for that part. Divorcing him will be easy since we always had separate accounts. I have little savings. Before I get on my own feet properly, I will be staying with my mom in our old house. I turned off my location before leaving his house, but it won't be long until he figures out where am I. He is currently messaging me, but I am not strong enough to open them and read them, so I haven't responded or read his SMS. Update 2. It's me again. Thank you for all the support you guys gave on my previous post. I would write everything briefly as my lawyer suggested not to share anything too much. I got a lawyer the day after I left the house. He told me not worry about anything currently. The divorce proceedings started few days ago. My SDBX received the paper and he went ballistics. There was several emotional episode from him. The proceedings will take times to end. At least 90 days. We had a prenuptial agreement before marriage, so I won't be getting any of asset. I don't want anything from him, plus my payment as a teacher is enough to fend myself. I just want him to get out my life and start everything over again. Lately he have been massaging me a lot, telling me about how he misses my cooking and stuffs. It just weirds me out a lot. So I ignore his SMS and calls. I only talk to him through lawyers. I used to feel trapped in this marriage, but now I feel free a bit. Some relatives from his sides contacted me. Mostly they are accusing me for letting him have his affairs. In their words, it's my fault that I couldn't tie my husband by side and let him open marriage. His mother sent few of the nasty SMS, which I didn't expect it from her since she was a woman too. I took screenshots of those. I might sue for harassment if anything goes further than just text messages or voicemails.